Good morning, CLC. I invite each and every one of you now to just welcome in divine spirit and light. If you feel so inclined, go ahead and take a nice deep cleansing breath in, breathing in the source of wisdom, the source of love. And as you release the breath, release all that no longer serves you. Allow all doubt and insecurities to just wash away for right now, knowing that you have everything you need in this moment for this life. If you feel so inclined, go ahead and take another nice, deep, cleansing breath in, breathing in the paternal love that is the divine. And as you release the breath, allow that love to wash over you in protection, in guidance, in love. And just take this moment to allow your body to just relax and allow your mind to be here now. Universal love enfolds me. Universal wisdom inspires me. Universal spirit enlightens me. Universal power encircles me. I am one, and all is well. As we begin this inner healing process, let me invite you to relax in quiet confidence, opening yourself up to the miracle-working higher power. Now symbolize the unity of your thinking and feeling nature by touching your chest with your hand, and let my words act as your own for your own inner healing, acceptance, and receptivity. I acknowledge that there is a power, intelligence, and wisdom greater than my own. I am in the midst of it, and it is in the midst of me, sensitive and responsive to my every thought, word, action, and feeling. I now make this true for myself by saying aloud, I acknowledge. Acknowledging this power working through my life, I admit that I am personally responsible for solving my own problems while being guided and assisted by something greater than myself. As I am ready to surrender the conflicts of my ego to the wisdom of this infinite presence, I simply speak these words. I surrender. Knowing that forgiveness is the key to unconditional love and the feeling of heaven, I now unconditionally forgive anyone and everyone who has ever injured me in any way, real or imagined. And I now forgive myself for all of my mistaken judgments and their resulting actions. From my deepest level of understanding, I now say, I forgive. Realizing that I continually experience the effects of my own thinking, I now choose to allow this higher power to recreate me deeply, filling my mind with thoughts that are only positive, constructive, loving, and beautiful. I call upon this divine inflow by stating aloud, I choose. I now center upon that one special idea that I'm willing to accept as real for me in this coming week. Visualizing that idea as already acted upon and brought to pass. In seeing my idea become a fact of my experience, I enjoy the happiness and peace of my thought fulfilled and gratefully speak these words. I accept. Knowing that I have an everlasting place in the midst of the power that sustains all creation, as well as the support of all those around me, I allow myself to relax in the peace of fulfillment and gratitude and say, I release. Now, in my mind's eye, I envision the presence of someone near and dear to me. This can be a friend, a family member, a teacher or mentor, someone who has touched my life in deep and loving ways. Someone who may not be physically present in this room or on this planet anymore. I turn to that image in my mind's eye and say, I'm grateful for the good in your life. Now I open my eyes, turn to the world around me, and joyfully speak to anyone physically present in the room or virtually on this broadcast, and share in confidence and gratitude in saying, I'm grateful for the good in your lives.
Well, it's Father's Day, and I wish you a meaningful Father's Day, a happy Father's Day if happy works for you, or meaningful if it's more complicated than that. Father's Day originated a couple of years after Mother's Day. Mother's Day was a big hit. We talked about that last month. Anna Jarvis got it started, and then she was sorry. She said that she did because it turned into this big commercial enterprise. Well, a couple of years later, not to be outdone, they started Father's Day. And the initial reaction to that was, well, it didn't have the same sentimental appeal as Mother's Day. Depends on who you ask, I suppose. But it has since really taken off, and it is now a festival of pop-up ads for wallets and necktie and pocket square combinations. And my special favorite, ultra high-speed nose hair trimmers. Well, we're working with a metaphor this month of water, and we could go on all year with this, but there are other metaphors yet to get to. Water represents the great subconscious mind. It's the field of creative energy, the neutral field of energy that gets shaped into particular form by the activity of the conscious mind, where we spend most of our time thinking about the conscious mind and the choices that we have to make and what are we going to do next. But the subconscious mind, the great mysterious field of energy, is intimidating often to us. And my job, as I see it, is to make it less intimidating. That was also Ernest Holmes' job, and it's basically the job of all of New Thought. The subconscious mind is where the action is. It's what gets things done. It's the creative medium, and it's called that for a reason. It exists as a mediating point between the intellect and solid form. But it's what goes and gets things and puts them together, and especially causes us to cross paths with the people and the experiences that tailor themselves in some way to our mental equivalence, to our expectation, and to our desires. So I think we should spend more and not less time looking at that. And a function of the subconscious mind, it's very practical and immediate to us, is it's emotional. It's emotional. So I read an interesting line this week that in itself is a whole month of talks or more. And it said you have the physical and you have the emotional. Here's an example of the metaphorical relationship of the two. Alone and lonely. Alone is a physical state. Lonely is an emotional state. Not everyone who's alone is lonely, are they? In solitude, much beauty happens, much is learned, much is gained, you know. And you can be lonely in a crowd. You can be lonely in a family. You can be lonely with thousands of followers or admirers or something. So it's an emotional state. But we look at it as we want to simplify things, you know. Well, emotions aren't that simple, but they are immediate and they are meant to be explored. They are meant to be felt. So on something like Father's Day, you get to think what that means to you, and especially you get to feel what it means to you. Are you a father? If not, you certainly had one. Was he around? Maybe you had more than one. Were they around? What kind of care did they take of you? I wonder if it might not be a good idea at some point to do away with the whole gender distinction thing, throw Mother's and Father's Day out the window, call it Mentorship Day. Like Danielle mentioned, look at the mentors and teachers that we've had in life. It doesn't matter whether they're related to us, doesn't matter if they're older, or of a previous generation, it certainly doesn't matter what gender they are. The people that we admire, the people that we look to, the people that actually in their behavior mirror what we just heard in that song, who stood up and were righteous and tried to do the right thing and built a ladder to the stars and climbed on every rung. And we look at them do that and say, I want that. I want to follow in those footsteps. And for that matter, as we've talked about many times, the mentors that you have don't even have to be human. I mean, there are animal mentors. There's nature in general. And oh, by the way, next month is going to be all about Thoreau. We're going to look at Walden. I thought, 4th of July month and all that, let's pick somebody who is kind of part of the American literature scene who's also metaphysically inclined. And we've talked Emerson up one side and down the other, as you know. And right across the pond there in Concord is his friend, his younger friend, Henry David Thoreau. So we'll look at him. Well, see, there's another mentor. And you read these words and they come alive on the page. And that's the point of where I want to go with this today, is that all time and all space exist concurrently within this vast emotional field called the subconscious mind. It's all still happening. Generations don't just march through and kind of go over a cliff, I was thinking about death recently, and not to be morbid or anything, but it comes up, because I've lost some friends lately, and so have you. And death in our mortal life, physical death, human death, as we look at it today, is less about going over a cliff than it is about passing through a veil. People disappear out of our experience physically, but they've never been more alive in our hearts, in our emotional field. We feel their presence. We know that they're here. And then, of course, there's the question of our own mortality, which is where everybody tries to steer the conversation at one point or another. We think about something like Father's Day. Maybe our father's gone off the planet. We start to think, well, my time is ticking away here, and what's that going to look like? And we get the cold chill up the spine and all. And then we remember, wait, what is it I believe? Where do I go on Sundays? There is no death. There's only change. And you know what? There's change tomorrow morning. There's change this afternoon. Nothing ever works out exactly the way you expect it to, so that's called change. It's also called surprise. And we get to embrace that. Why I'm bringing all of this up is, as the song alluded to, today's about the fountain of youth specifically, and about staying forever young. How do you stay forever young? Well, there's some clues and hints given, and oh God, don't ever enter it in Safari on your phone or whatever your favorite browser is, because you'll get diets and you'll get exercise regimens and you'll get stuff until you want to scream about what you need to do. And don't eat that and put that down and stop this, and right? And it'll hang over you like a vulture, this thing, and it'll pop up on every device that you cross. So don't go there. Don't go there. Try this instead. Tell yourself you love yourself. Try to live in the moment. Well, I'll come back to that. But the fountain of youth, I got interested in the fountain of youth. And so this goes back to Herodotus, 5 centuries before Christ, 5 centuries before the Common Era. Herodotus was talking about the existence of a fountain of youth. And then Alexander later got into it. And then I remember in school hearing about Ponce de Leon and how he saw it, which now they think is a myth. He wasn't. He was all over the Bahamas and Puerto Rico, and he was the first European apparently to his little group of conquistadors were the first to visit Florida, and they thought here or there they would find something of use, and how this turned into the Fountain of Youth is debatable. But anyway, it was a place where you could go and step in the water. Or swim in the water, and it would restore you to physical health. And what's funny about this to me is that Ponce de Leon, who, as I say, it was a myth he went looking for this, but if he was 39 when he hit Florida. And 39 is often the age. How many people do you know when you ask them how old they are or they volunteer it, they'll say, well, I'm 39 and holding. Because that's the age when we start to turn the corner into when you're in your 30s, 40 is right, really, really ripe, really, really mature. So our people have sought something, they've sought some kind of elixir. And the fact that it's water suggests that it's a metaphor, and what they're seeking is a new consciousness, a new restorative consciousness. So here's what we have for every day. The experience of newness. Every day, the experience of newness. Look, the older you get, the more experiences you've had, right? The more memories you have, the more stuff crowds in, and everything tends to remind you of something else. And after a while, it starts to remind you of 10 other things or 50 other things. And every person you meet tends to remind you of lots and lots of other people who were more like them than they weren't. Except that's the shorthand that we use cognitively to kind of move things along. I want to suggest that we not try so hard to move things along, but instead slow it down cognitively, rationally, and be in the moment. Because each person you meet, while they are similar to everyone else, is not everyone else. Each person is a standalone entity. Each experience, though it's similar, is not the same. And so the people that I know who are of increasing chronological age, but remain, in my estimation, forever young, are the people who welcome each moment as a whole new thing and are curious and want to learn and want to know. And they want to know more about everything that's coming along. They're interested in new inventions and new discoveries. And a line you seldom hear out of them, except kind of in jest, or once in a while when they just can't help it, is, well, back in my day, we did blah, 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 blah. And it's hilarious when you hear people do this because they always exaggerate. Back in my day, we didn't have all these newfangled contraptions, these computer games and video stuff and all. No, we played with a block of wood and a piece of string, right? But really, the people who stay young are like, ooh, what's that you've got there? Show me that. How does that work? What can I do with this? And especially they grow in compassion and understanding. They see in the passage of time a deepening that occurs. They want to know more about one another, and They try to take better care of one another. And the young are encouraged to follow in this journey too. And there's a song I want to recommend to you. It's perfect for today. You can catch it on your phone. It's by John Prine, and it's called Hello in There. Hello in There. When you get home, do yourself a favor. Do yourself a favor and go to YouTube and listen to that. Watch him sing it if you like. That song, Hello in There. Okay? To say to the older, I see you. I see you. To say this to each other. To say it to the self within. So, as we grow like trees from the inside out. You know how trees have rings, right? Well, inside of you, the grown, mature tree, is the sapling that you are, and inside the sapling is the little germinated twig-looking thing that the first version of that sprung up out of the seed. All of these parts of the self are still in there. You can say to those parts of the self, I see you, and I recognize you, and I know you, and how are you doing? You can ask it how it's doing. How is the teenage self in you doing? Is it bored? Is it feeling heard? Is it feeling useful in the moment? How's the little child in you doing? Who's vulnerable and innocent and trusting? How's that child in you doing? Ask it yourself. Ask it yourself. You can pay other people to ask it for you, like therapists and stuff, and that's all well and good. And they're not always around, and maybe you don't. It seems complicated to go through someone else. You can ask it yourself. How you doing? What do you need from me? What do you need from me? What do you need me to do? You need me to be strong? You need me to be vulnerable? Some combination of the two? Ask this of yourself. And you'll get energy back. And you'll feel like a kid. You'll feel like a kid again. It's a beautiful day. It's not like any other. We say, oh, it's summer now, it's hot. Okay, well, it's hot. It's hot every year. You know, we get surprised. I'm amazed. We South Texans, we get surprised at this. It's summer, it's hot. Man, it's hot. We go around saying this. I was in a store the other day and so, oh, it's hot. Of course it's hot. This is Texas, it's summer. Better we should say it's cold. There's snow. It's snowing in June in Texas. What's happening? You know, the sky is falling. That would excite some commentary, but of course it's hot. And then, except it's not hot when it rains. Except here in South Texas, it can be hot and rainy. We walk around under hot rain. It's very strange, but it happens. But we act surprised at these things that come in cycles for us. Another year goes by. Here's another one that's fun. It's June now. It feels Christmas was just yesterday. I was saying this just the other day. It seems like just yesterday it was the holidays, and now here it is 6 months later. Well, you know what we're going to be saying at Christmas? It was just June. And so we mark the occasion this way with this surprise, and we imprint on ourselves that we're always looking ahead. We're always looking ahead. And I tell you, in my line of work, this is something I have had to deal with the whole time I've been doing this. Because while I'm here giving this talk to you and in this series, now I'm thinking about next Christmas. I'm thinking about, you got to. What are we going to do in July and August? Just talking, Reverend David's going to speak here in July. I was just talking, what do you want to speak about? And already I'm thinking about, he's thinking about the talk he's going to give, and it's going to be in the middle of the Thoreau series. And the other day I was texting with Reverend Arthur Johnson. He's going to speak here in August. So now he's thinking, see, I ruined his day. Except that's how he operates, you know, so, right? Because he speaks a lot of places. So he's thinking about what he's going to say to Creative Life. And now I just went ahead and brought up Christmas, and I'm thinking about Christmas Eve. It's a big deal. We got to start thinking about all of this, you know? And a show in October. There's a show in October, and you can bet your bottom dollar they're thinking about that. Yeah. So always we're looking forward to something else, and that's fine. And right now, what did Danielle say in the inner healing experience? What does she say every Sunday? Be here now. And she pronounces it very deliberately. She doesn't say, all right, everybody be here now. Just be here now. Just run. No, it's be here now. Breathe. Be here now. Why? You don't want to miss a thing. That's right. Right now, you don't want to miss a thing. Right now, what did Ernest Holmes say? The very air crackles with power. He didn't say it's going to at Halloween or Christmas or 2027. He said, no, right now, right now is all the time there is. That's immortality. That's immortality right there. Is that right now, all the time there is. The metaphorical example that's often given is that a point is composed of an infinite number, or divisible by an infinite number of lines, and a line is composed of an infinite number of points. Put those two together and your head explodes a little, but it's a meditative thing, right? Okay, that's immortality. Right now where you are is the crossroads for everything. Right now where you are, this moment, right here, and now the next one, and now the next one, or what they call the next now, the next new now, the next new now. And we look at life in that way and go into each moment and expand it and explore it, and you can mess with time. You know you can. You get really interested in something, you throw yourself into it, you lose all track, don't you? And the sun goes down and the sun comes up, and there you are still involved in this project or something. Other times when you're bored, time just drags by. So we play with it. We tweak it. So to be fully present in the self, there's no time to wither on the vine. You're experiencing life just as it is. And yes, new things come along sequentially too, and you're prepared for these. You also, as we've talked about, get information before you need it. Before you've ever set the goal. We look at it like we pack for the journey and we go on the journey and we arrive at the destination. But really what happens is these steps can rearrange themselves in such a way. Before you set the goal, you have the information that you need. And then you realize, say, I have all this information, and it all seems to be put together in such a way as to be pointing me toward this. And that's how the goal gets set, rather than the old-fashioned way of set the goal and then begin to gradually accumulate the information. What can we do together? Where can we go? And how can we build a world that works for everyone? Well, we are building it right now. It's not on the great come and get it day when the world is rolled out as being perfect for all. We're building it right now with each thought, each act, each step. And we're all vital. We all belong. And this transgenerational thing is nonsense. This is something else that pops up on your news feed, is Gen Z thinks that boomers are idiots, and boomers think that Gen X, everybody's putting everybody else down. Well, first of all, there's no clear delineation between generations at all. Why? Because people are born every second. Okay? They also leave the planet every second. And so to take a random or arbitrary block of time and say on this date this generation ended, well, that's just silly. Furthermore, there are old souls, younger souls, as we call this. I don't really believe in that because I think we've all existed forever. But there are those with great deep wisdom who, in terms of Earth years, are extremely young. Prodigies, geniuses, and all of this. And there are also, frankly, on the other end of the spectrum, some older people who have still not got it figured out, who are still, struggling with it. And all are beloved, all are blessed, and all are part of the whole one life. One other thing we can do, and there's a lot, metaphysically, but this is just a kind of a sampler here, is I brought this up in a class recently, and I brought it up before in a class, and every time I do it makes people really uncomfortable, so I'm sure to bring it up as often as I possibly can. And it is Louise Hay, one of her spiritual practices is in her book, Heal Your Body. She said, you want to heal your body? Here's the best thing to do. Here's certainly the first thing to do. Whatever ails you. She said, take all your clothes off and stand in front of a full-length mirror. Instantly people are like, oh, can we change the conversation? It's creepy. Take all your clothes off, stand in front of a full-length mirror, and start at your feet and work your way up. I love you, feet. I love you, shins. I love you, what's next? Knees. I love you, naughty bits. I love you. It's Monty Python. Okay? And what will happen? Your heart will pound and your head will sweat and you'll be like, this is so intimate, this is so intense. Yeah, it kind of is, but how much of the time have you said, I hate my feet? Yeah. These darn knees that give out on me. These, I'm just not where. Look at this is sagging and that. We condemn and judge ourselves physically so automatically, and we think everybody's doing it. We think everybody's doing it, and they're not. There are people out there that are blessing the body that they wear. When I used to drink to excess, which was a long time ago, before any of you knew me, but it was a real thing in my life, I thought everybody was doing the same thing. You know that? I thought everybody was half in the bag when walking around, driving, going to work, coming home from work, morning, evening, made no difference. I thought everybody was. When I got sober, I suddenly realized, no. I said, no. They were getting stuff done with a clear head and, all of this, and no, that's not really how it works. So we often ascribe to other people behaviors and things that they really are not practicing. But anyway, back to the Louise Hay practice. Try this. And if it's too much to ask the full-length mirror, then just start with your face. Just start with your beautiful, lovely face. Look at your face in the mirror and say, I love you, face. You don't look like I looked when I was in 8th grade, but that's all right. Okay? You got maybe some more hair on you or something, or less. But I love you because you're a great face. And you're what I show to the world. And the world, you know what? The world recognizes me because of this. If I didn't have you on, or if I had a different one on, people wouldn't know who I am. Until maybe I said a few things, and then they'd be like, wait, you sound like Jesse, but I'm not sure. Because you don't look like him. So, yeah, you do great work for me. And you've weathered a lot. You've smiled and you've frowned, and water's come out your eyes from time to time. And still here you are. Love your face. Love your face. And in your hands, you get the idea. And just, you don't have to be all gushy about it and weird and, over the top, but just say, I'm grateful. I'm grateful. My gratitude, this is a Thoreau quote, my gratitude is perpetual. My gratitude is perpetual, not, I would add, situational. You do something nice, good things fall in my lap. If something good falls in your lap, by the way, don't stand up. But something comes your way, and you say, I'm grateful for that. I'll take that and snatch that up, and now. No, I'm great. Gratitude is a perpetual thing for who we are. That's the fountain of youth. And you can step into it every time you get into your shower. You want it that close by. Draw a bath, as they say. Climb into the bathtub. That's your fountain of youth. It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor for youthfulness and everything that comes with it. Strength, resiliency, acceptance, and maybe most important of all, optimism. A positive outlook. A joyous heart that's open to life. Said, all right, maybe today was a struggle. Maybe today didn't go quite the way I wanted it to. It's preparing me for greater good to come. It's making me more aware of what I want rather than what I don't want. And there is a power, there is a presence, and I can go talk to it and visit with it and implant things into that great universal subconscious realm and watch them come about. So let's do that together now. You are so good. I see you out of the corner of my eye. You can always tell when I'm winding down. It's, as I say, let's go, and he's sliding onto the piano bench. All right. Let's know together now. There is one life, one power, one presence, pure spirit, everywhere radiant, everywhere magnificent everywhere, deeply felt. And on this sweet Sunday in mid-June, in all this green that's going on outside with all the rain that we've had, and things are blooming lushly, and the bees are happy and the butterflies are thrilled. It's so easy to feel the presence of the creative, animating spirit that thought all this up from within itself. I am part of its blooming experience. I am part of its maturing and ripening self. This is life that I am. And I claim it all. I belong to it all. I claim the wisdom of years and the freshness of youth. I claim a strength in body, mind, and soul to do what is before me to do. I claim curiosity and inventiveness, a desire to explore, to know what makes things tick, to understand my own motivations, intentions, and ambitions, to forgive and let go anything that is in the way, any resentment, any regret that I've built up. I claim that it's lifted from me now and replaced by a spirit of thankfulness, openness, and trust. I eagerly look forward to each new moment, and I have no dread of mortality because I know that the essential part of me, that's greater even than this body that I wear, as magnificent as it is, the essential part of me cannot ever end. Therefore, the joy of discovery continues into eternity. And that makes my heart sing. I know that I will forever be accompanied by amazing godlings in every possible shape and form, each of them reminding me of the ubiquity of spirit that has fashioned all of this, that has built these worlds and peopled them with living things. I'm grateful for my Father. If I am a father, I'm grateful for my children. I'm grateful for the experience that we've had together. And I know that I am guided and mentored by that which the ancients called the Father of us all, the Father, Mother, God, the great androgynous spirit, the divine nature. For this knowing and its manifestation in form, in time, in space, all around and within my life. I'm so grateful. I release this word now into law, calling it done, and so it is.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to reach it from there with a lecture in front there. That's true. It will be a moving experience then, right? Well, yeah, I was thinking when Jesse was talking about change, that's what you get when you pay with dollar bills. I also found out something else this morning. Apart from lots of information and stuff in Jesse's talk, I found out that some people watch... Yeah. Hey, listen. I'm a Brit, you know, we use different terminology, right? I also found out something today as well, that Jeffrey found out that tea in Britain is not just a drink. It's an institution, right, Jeffrey? He was telling me all about it before the service. And how the Scotsman that he was staying with when he was in Scotland the other week was drinking tea like every 30 seconds. And that when they went to play golf, no, they didn't start playing golf immediately. No, the first thing was, guess what? They had to have a cup of tea. And I found out one more thing this morning. Some people here watch the History Channel, right? Because we watched the thing on immortality the other day on the History Channel. Yeah. Yeah, it was on the history. Yeah. Yeah, it was quite interesting. So as we come up to giving time, and as you take your gift either in your hand physically or mentally, just once again think about one thing that you are grateful for today. And for me, I'm grateful for my father because, as Danielle said before the service, only for our fathers we wouldn't be here. Whether you got on with them or not, if it wasn't for them, you would not be here. So think about one thing that you're grateful for. And me, I'm thinking how grateful I am for my father, who I only knew for 4 years of my life. So now say with me, divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all the good I am and have, all the good I give and receive. I am prosperous now, and so it is.
Okay, now, I brought my phone up on with me, not so that I could read you announcements, because my announcements are easy, even though occasionally I forget to do them. But when Jesse made a comment about, the journey of life, and then I went, I saw a really good quote about that yesterday. Was I smart enough to share it with myself? And guess what? I was. So now I get to share it with you. Okay. So I ran to my Facebook page going, please, yes. Okay. So this is Alan Watts. Is it really Alan Watts? I don't know, but I liked it. So here we go. We thought of life by analogy with a journey, a pilgrimage which had a serious purpose at the end. And the thing was to get to that end, success or whatever it was. Maybe heaven after you're dead, but we missed the point the whole way along. It was a musical thing, and you were supposed to sing or to dance while the music was being played. All right? Alan Watts. So that is what I'm going to take into treatment with me now. Let's hope I remember my glasses are in my back pocket and don't sit on them. Okay. Is that invitation to sing and dance. Now, I think I have a nice speaking voice. I'm not crazy about my singing. I have danced, and I'm mostly uncoordinated, but that's not the point. That is not the point. The point is the joy of life. So I invite you to sing and dance with me now into the sacred. It's all sacred all the time. That's the truth. But there are moments in our life when we consciously ground and center ourselves in that sacred. And we recognize that there is one life, one power, one presence, one love. And that life is the life that we are living now. That presence is our presence. And it is that love that we are divine channels for. And that there is a song that is just individually for each and every one of us that blends into this amazing harmony of the song of life. And that we each have our part. And the song isn't complete without us. And that as we grow and evolve and change, so does our song. It grows with us. In the great dance of life, there's never a misstep. We can always do the cha-cha. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But the point is to sing, to dance, to join in with the joy, and to spread the love. Not a little bit of love, but a whole lot of love. Because it is what we are made of. It is what we are made from. It is what we are made for, is love. So come with me. Sing, dance. Let's hold hands in this great harmony of life and be as children in that joy and know one another as the beloved expressions of the divine that we are, the beloved children of God that we are. Let us look into each other's eyes, look into our own eyes, and see that divine looking back at us. And know that it is good. And I know this with all of the gratitude in my being. I hear my song. I hear your song. I hear the song. And I dance. And I release my word in this gratitude, being grateful for this teaching that teaches me who I am, being grateful for this community that reminds me when I have forgotten. I am grateful for our practitioners, our ministers, our musicians. I am grateful for each and every one of you. I am grateful for the technology that lets us send this message out into the ethers. And I release my word into the law, knowing that it says yes, with love. And so it is.
Say with me now, something wonderful is happening through me.
Something wonderful is happening through me.
I feel it in my body.
I feel it in my body.
I feel it in my mind.
I feel it in my mind.
I feel it in everything I am.
I feel it in everything I am.
I choose it.
I choose it.
I trust it.
I trust it.
I use it.
I use
and
it.
I love it.
And I love it.
So it is.
And so it is.